You know what that yard need, boy? Yeah, what's it need? It need chickens. Chickens? Yeah, go boy. Yeah, I said chickens. I don't know anything about chickens. Yeah, go boy. You gonna learn. What the?
Hey guys, so I want to make this video about me building a chicken coop. However, I did not plan it out very well, and I have pictures and some video, and I didn't talk through the video that much, but I wanted to share with you what my process was, at least as much of it as I possibly can. When I found out I was going to be having chickens, I started pricing everything, and chicken coops and runs are expensive to buy, and I didn't want to put that much money into it. So I decided to at least build my chicken coop with scraps. And when I say scraps, I mean things that I just had that was left over from other projects and what have you. So when you watch this video, it's a lot of crap that I put together. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, this video is going to be a little bit odd. Like I was saying, I didn't put it together quite right, and it's going to be a combination of pictures and video. But let's get to it, and you'll see what I'm talking about, but hopefully you'll get an idea of what I did for my chicken coop. So here we go. So this picture that you're seeing is actually a Halloween decoration, and it was light boxes. They would flash lights and everything. And I took those front grills off. Those were school bus grills. Took those off, and I cut pieces out of that, and then I combined the two boxes. This is the back end, which is a cabinet, and that's the back end of the chicken coop. And then here we have some chicken boxes I made. That's made out of some old gym bench. And this is where you see everything kind of mashed together. So at the back is the cabinets. And in the middle of that big divide there you see is the two boxes that I'm just kind of mashing together. They're going to stay like that, and I'm going to build onto it with more wood and everything. But that's really the internals of my chicken coop. It already had these hinges on the side of it, so I just left them as is. And I thought it'd be great for the boxes in order to get the eggs and everything. But I ended up not using one side, so I was only planning on having about 6 chickens. So I decided to take one of the nesting boxes out. Here's the beginnings of the roof that I put on top. I just put some 2x4s that I had. Everything is, I didn't pay anything for any of this. This is just old wood that I had laying around and other stuff that I found. So this is the beginning of the roof, and you can still see it. I'm starting to put together those two boxes. Inside the coop, I used some little bit of vinyl flooring. Obviously it's in sections because I didn't have a whole piece, and I nailed it down in sections, and then I'm going to duct tape it down to the floor, and you'll see that here in a second. But once again, it was about using what I already had and not buying anything. This whole thing probably cost me under 20 bucks, and that was because I had to buy some OSB board for the roof itself. I had the roofing, I had some of the little drip plates that come from the roof. I had all that stuff. So now let's take a look at the video. Okay, so there's the chicken coop right now, but it looks a little bit messy. So I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit by just kind of giving it some sort of decoration by using a bunch of other boards that I have. Now, these boards are a combination of this old fencing and some bed slats for underneath your mattress and some pallets. So that's really all I'm going to use to try to just kind of dress it up a little bit, make it look a little bit better. Still underneath I think 20 bucks right now. That was mainly for the roof and a couple other things, but this is about as cheap as you're going to get. So this is what we're looking to do. We're not looking to spend much money on this because we're going to have to spend some money on the chicken run itself. So this is where I'm looking to save money. Now at this point, this is just really how I fastened these slats to the chicken coop. I just used some nails and just kind of mixed and matched these pieces, and it's what I said, it's just a bunch of different pieces of wood that I found laying on the ground. And what you'll see is I didn't remove the hinges. Maybe I could have done that to make it look better, but I really didn't want to, so I make a sign to cover that area, and I think it works out fine. So You guys can decide. You guys can tell me how bad that is or whatever. But it's going to work for me. So anyway, what I did was I put these slats up, and I didn't pre-cut them or anything like that because some of them had smaller boards and what have you. So I just nailed everything up. I'm making a line right here across, and this is what I did with the first part of it. I made a line across and took a circular saw and then sawed it off nice and even, and that was easy for me to do it that way instead of trying to cut everything individually. I just put it up there and sawed it off. And like I said, I think with these coops, you guys can make these however you want to, and I just kind of wanted to show you my version of finding stuff that I had around and making something for under 20 bucks. This the base that you'll see right there, I actually had that outside, and it was just kind of a preparation table for my garden. I'd put seeds on, things like that to start seeds, and the top of it rotted out, so I ended up using that base and just sat everything on top of it, and it worked out perfect. So, and here's me doing the front of the coop. Essentially the same thing, mix matched the different slats, the different wood, and then cutting it off with the circular saw. So here's a quick look at what I've gotten done on the coop. That's pretty much it. I mean, the back, I'm going to paint it, and I've got some stuff I'll show in a minute on the video with those two drawer holes. I'll show you how I do that. I do not have the door at this point, but I do make a door. But this is an overview of everything that I've done so far on the coop. But essentially, this is 90% done. So here's that sign that I was talking about. There's another piece of wood, and it was an old sign that I had, and I just painted over it. I just misted it with some white and some black. Made some printouts online. I found a silhouette of a chicken and a silhouette of an egg, and cut the eggs out. And then as you can see, the eggs that I cut out, I used those also, and sprayed over top of that. And there you go. You can kind of see what I did. I did a nice little cute sign, something really quick. It probably took me a whole 20 minutes to do, and I end up putting it right here to kind of hide those hinges, and it looks cute too. And even if I didn't have it to hide those hinges, I may have made a sign to put on there anyway. I ended up moving the sign backwards a little bit. That's a little bit forward, but I moved the screws and I put them back a little bit. There you can see how the hinges work and how I'm going to be able to get the eggs. So there you go, and I put it right back over. As easy as 1, 2, 3. And there you go. And that's where I kind of moved the sign back a little bit. And so here we go. This is the door of the chicken coop. And what's kind of hard to see is I'm in behind these front slats. They're spaced a little bit wider, are 2x4s, and well, you can kind of see them right there. But they're spaced a little bit wider than these front slats, and the top slat is absolutely open, so I can slide this door panel into that little slot. I end up putting an eye hook on the top of that slat, and then there's like a 1x1 piece that's also attached to that board. And then I put it up into a pulley and bring it around. That way, when I enclose everything with the chicken run, you'll be able to stand outside of the chicken run and pull this little lever and be able to open the door and close the door, and be a lot easier. You don't have to go into the chicken run or anything like that in order for it to work. So this is just kind of me building it. There's some issues that I ran into. For some reason it was kind of lodging as it went up, so I added this little board in behind it that you really don't even see, but now it keeps it slightly away from the rest of the wood, and it goes up. You can see I had to notch out a little bit of a slat because it was catching on that. So I did that, and I'm just installing the things for the pulley right now. The eye hook, the other eye hook that's up top that actually holds the pulley itself, and there you have it. That's the way it's going to work. Video time. All right, since the door is a little bit heavy, it was a little bit hard to kind of pull that string from the eye hook that I had up here. And then I remember that I had a pulley that I took off of a junked Power Flex. So this is something I didn't pay for either. So I put this up here and attached it here. Just kind of have a sitting position for this. Makes it a lot easier to pull. Put it there. That's it. The only thing I'm thinking is I might put another eye hook right here because that may end up rubbing if I do that too much, or maybe I'll put another piece of wood. I'm not really sure yet, but until then, that pulley makes it a lot more easy to go up and down. But up here we have the drawers. What I did with this side is I cut the drawers totally off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the hardware material on the back side and be able to, anytime I want to, put this up here or take it off if I want a little bit more ventilation in the chicken coop. Maybe in the winter I put one up where I kind of hide part of it, that way they still have ventilation, but I'll be able to take it in and out. Alright, so don't make fun. I'm going to use this to cut this drawer. I would normally use a jigsaw, but the blade is broke and we're in the middle of a pandemic. So I'm going to use this. I don't feel like going to the store all the time. So here we go. Okay, so now to build the chicken ramp. So here's what I got right here. This is all leftover wood also. Didn't purchase any of this, so there you go. These are set, I believe I have them set about every 5 inches, basically a spacing of 5 inches in between each cleat. And I'm just mounting a 2x4 to a 2x10. I found something online that said that you needed to have at least like 10 inches across in order for the chickens to run up and everything, and same with the spacing for the 5 inches in between the cleats, so that's why I have it like that. So another issue that I was going to have is that I had to figure out the angle at which chickens can actually run up a ramp. So I found something else online that said it needed to be like 30 degrees or less. Well, okay, now you have to get some trigonometry in there. So you could either figure it out, if you guys remember high school math, that you have to have at least 2 things to figure out either the degrees of a triangle or the sides of a triangle, what have you. So what I did was I just measured the height right here from the ground up to the coop, and then I knew that I had to have 30 degrees. You could figure it out on your own using SOHCAHTOA, if you remember that, sine, opposite, hypotenuse, and all that junk. Or you can find, what I did was a triangle calculator online. I plugged in the height on the side, and I plugged in the 30 degrees that I wanted on the other side, and I was able to come to this conclusion for this length. I don't remember what it is, like 76 inches for, ended up being for what I have. So that's pretty much what I got for the ramp. And this is me really just pre-drilling and putting the screws in for the ramp itself. Like I said, it needed to be wider than 10 inches, and an 8x10 is not 10 inches wide, if you know that. It's more like, I forget, 7.5, 8 inches, something like that. So I put a 2x10 to a 2x4, and a 2x4 is not actually 4 inches across. So together it ended up being, somewhere around 11 or 12 inches. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm sure all you carpenters out there will know. But anyway, this is what I did for the chicken coop ramp. Now, I'm not totally done with the chicken coop, but I started with the chicken run. So I'm really kind of combining these things together. So I'm going to end this video with this because the chicken coop is 98% done, and you've seen the majority of the chicken coop right here. So guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, when I post the chicken run, watch that, and then I will show everything together. You'll see everything in its entirety, and I'll make sure that I do that. Of course, prior to the chickens ever getting in there, which hopefully we'll get some chickens within the next couple weeks of me making this video. But Once again, I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. I appreciate your support, and I will see you guys next time.
Oh man, that was a long day. Yeah, that making me tired watching you try to work. Hey, calm down there, Tenderpuss, but I can't wait for them chickens. Yeah, I know, it's gonna be pretty cool. Slide that butter all over them, get them good and ready. Yep, she tastes pretty good. I ain't talking about eating. What the?